promised some of the guys on one of the NRA board, and I thought for the blog as well, it would be a good thing to actually show shooting in, I guess you could call this extreme cold. I think we're right at zero. I took a picture of the weather underground for this place, so that'll be part of the video as well. Wind chill I think is about 10 or 12 below, so it's nippy. We're a little sheltered by the tire berms as well as woods around, but not, I can still feel it on my face. This is typically how I would go out in weather like this. I've got winter boots on, I've got poly long johns just for a trip around town or traveling. I've got jeans on, not for an overnight camp out like I've talked in the cold weather gear blog that I put up. I've got an Under Armour t-shirt, I've got a Henley long sleeve shirt, and then I've got a Columbia parka liner system that's got a zip-in liner as well as the coat, so it's multi-seasonal. Stocking cap for weather like this. Usually I wear a ball cap, but today I've got a stocking cap. Got ear protectors in, got my shooting glasses on, running a PackTech timer with about a 2-second start and a 3-second par. If you're going to go to a range and practice cold weather shooting, go and dress the way you normally dress. I don't have special shooting gloves on. I've got leather with thin slate liners. This is what I'd wear. This is pretty much how I would have to handle a threat should it come to me. I'm looking for a couple things that I want to work on a range trip like this. Obviously the first is the draw. A couple things when you get a parka like this, a lot of them have the adjustment strings around the side with those goofy little sizing knots. First thing you need to do is cut those things off. If they're anywhere close to where you wear your holster, the chances of those stupid little things getting inside the trigger guard and setting off around are pretty darn high. Cut them off. The other thing I like on some jackets is you can zip from top to bottom. I can't do this on this, so the bottom part is fairly restricted. That's something you just have to deal with, and we'll go through that. I suspect I'll have more than one draw that'll go sideways on me. When I teach draw from concealment, I focus on a single hand draw and a single hand reholster. The reason for that is that I have a pretty good hunch that if you're under attack, you're going to have one hand up fending off the attack while the other is trying to get to your carry weapon. I carry on my strong side or my dominant side, right hand, about 4 o'clock. I use a Black Hawk leather inside the waistband holster. When you draw as quickly as you can safely, when you reholster, all the time in the world. There's no need to rush the reholster. You want to keep your firearm on the threat till you make sure the threat is no longer a threat. You want to scan well so that you know it's just you, that he doesn't have a partner, she doesn't have a partner. There's no reason to hurry the reholster on the range either. So what I'm going to do is do 5 draws in a row. I'll set off the timer so you'll be able to get some gauge. You can also look at the timing thing on the window, I suspect, on the video, find out what it was timed to first round. I'm just going to do first round hits because I want to work on draws. We'll work on accuracy in a bit. Alright? So, I'm going to follow the Rob Pincus format. I like that. It's some sort of startle response. For me, I'll bring my hands up and move at the same time. Then while I'm doing that, I'll recover, draw, put a round on the target. I'll do that when the beeper goes off. It's going to look something like this. It's going to look something like this. Remember, after the shot, all the time in the world to reholster. I'll also post pictures on the blog so you can see what it looks like, what the hits look like. Now, one of the most elegant ones, the point there is that honestly that can happen in real life too. Keep your finger off the trigger, do your best to continue to clear the garment, keep moving, and engage the target. Alright, so that's the idea. When I talk about a single hand draw and movement, that type of thing, let's just work at the draw first. I take my dominant hand while I'm fending off whatever with my support hand, and you clear the garment, just jerk it all the way up. Drive your hand down on the butt of your gun, draw, punch, and engage. I think the thing that I want you to get with this is that it's firm action, especially in weather like this, when you got heavy gloves, when it's cold, when your firearm is under an outside jacket, a fleece liner, and a shirt. It takes some time to get to it. So you have to really dig, grab, drive, draw, and engage. Alright? Does that make sense? Again, when you're done, you have all the time in the world to reholster. I've got 7 rounds up there. We'll do 2 more. Then I'll load a couple magazines for mag changes, and we'll see how that looks. The point is too to continue to work the problem. The problem is you need to get your gun out. The problem is you got somebody coming at you. You just can't stop, say, golly, that's a shitty draw. You got to work your way through it. Last 2 I hurried. That's another thing to consider. Does you absolutely no good to hurry the shots and have you miss the target. And we're empty. I noticed that there were some comments on one of the boards I was on about why do you carry mags in your hip pocket? I think a lot of us do. For me, it's just because typically that's what I'm going to go out of the house with. Is it the best? No. But the other issue is too, I've already gone through 15 rounds. I'm hoping that I've solved the problem before I get to need that second mag. Alright, so I'm going to shut the camera down for a minute. I'm going to go up and score these, and then we'll talk a little bit. I'm using a standard Special Weapons Team target from Law Enforcement Target. It's got the silhouette in the bottom. It's got boxes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, circles, squares, and triangles. My typical habit is to shoot the 5 yards, shoot the 3 from 21, shoot the 1 from 21, and the 3 from 30. So what I'm going to do is go through a draw, do 3 rounds slow fire at each one from those distances for marksmanship for today, and then that'll get a couple more draws from the holster, from the jacket as well. It's going to look something like this. This will be the circle at 7. Finally, the square at 30 feet. All right, so there you go. Work on your draw in cold weather. Clear it, drive, draw, extend, and drive to the target. You got to do this stuff in the cold. Doesn't really matter how much time you spend out here. Depends on the day. I'm going to wrap it up after this. But work at it. It's the only way you're going to put this skill, master this skill, and make it firmly part of you as a defensive shooter. Thanks much. Catch you next time.